Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha Teacher. Children, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, isn't it? Because of that, we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean that we are going to stop learning. We are going to meet here regularly through the virtual training center to learn many lessons in EVS. So come on, let's go to a lesson in EVS. Come on children, let's move on with a new lesson in standard 4th EVS 2. And the lesson that we're going to start today is lesson number 13 from your EVS textbook. And the name of the lesson is Shivaji gives the slip to the emperor. Now, giving the slip to the emperor here means that Shivaji outsmarts the emperor. That is, Shivaji, in a way you can say, makes a fool out of the emperor. So now, why does this situation arise? And what happens exactly? And why does Shivaji have to face a situation where he has to plan in order to give a slip to the emperor? All these things we're going to learn in this lesson, that is lesson number 13. Now, as we know children, we have been learning about the life of Shivaji Maharaj and all his famous achievements in this particular course, in this textbook. Okay. Now, before we move on to lesson number 13, let us do a quick recap of what we did in the previous lesson so that the story or the idea gets a flow. So, let us now see what happened in the previous lesson. Now we saw that Shivaji did not rest after the defeat of Shaista Khan. He did not rest. One of the reasons was that the Mughal army was causing a lot of trouble in the area of Maharashtra. That is why, to bring the emperor to his senses, Shivaji carried out a raid on Surat. And we know that the city of Surat was a very important trade center for the Mughals. And not only that, Shivaji also took away a huge amount as booty from this raid. All this must have, of course, angered the emperor. So the raid on Surat, it drove Aurangzeb into a furious rage. He got very, very angry and he decided to put an end to the Maratha kingdom like we saw in the previous lesson. And when he decided to set this thing right and to bring an end to the Maratha kingdom, he sent two of his officers, or you can say two of his generals, to Maharashtra in order to defeat Shivaji Maharaj. One of them was Mirza Raje Jai Singh, and the other one was a very, very capable Sardar in the rule of Aurangzeb. That is, his name was Sardar Diler Khan. So these two people, they came to Maharashtra and they were very, very equipped. They had a lot of money. They had a lot of soldiers. So they came fully armed. They came fully prepared in order to defeat Shivaji Maharaj. Okay. Now let us see what happened and what plan they did. What was their plan? Their plan was to make Shivaji weak. And for that, they decided that they would target the fort of Purandar. Now Purandar, why? Because Purandar was one of Shivaji's big and strong forts. Daler Khan knew that Shivaji could not be defeated as long as he was the master of Purandar. And for the same reason, what did they do? They laid siege to this powerful fort. And he also had a huge army. Okay, so Daler Khan was the person who laid siege to the powerful fort of Purandar. Now, when you laid siege to a fort, what do you do exactly? You surround the fort from all sides and you cut off any kind of supply that happens to the fort. So you do not allow people to go in, nor do you allow the people to come out. So now you know that forts are usually, see this fort also, it is situated on top of a hill. So there is no way that they can cultivate or they can grow their own crops or things like that. So they have to depend on supplies coming in. Okay. And in case this kind of supply doesn't happen for a long time, then they cannot fight and they have to give in. Alright, so this was the idea, and therefore this person, Diler Khan, he laid siege to the powerful fort of Purandar. And we also know that the person who was in charge of the fort of Purandar, or the person who was the commander of the fort of Purandar, was Murar Baji. But unfortunately, in the fight that happened between Diler Khan and Murar Baji was killed. Okay, unfortunately, he suffered a very, very grave injury to his neck. He was shot in the neck by Diler Khan and he fell to the ground and he was killed. Of course, the soldiers were not at all disheartened and they said, what if one Murar Baji has fallen? We too are brave like him. We will continue to fight. And they fought and they were able to drive the Mughals out. But ultimately, what would have happened is that a lot many soldiers would have lost their lives. And this set Shivaji Maharaj thinking. He was unwilling to win against the Mughals at the cost of his men who would die in the attempt. Okay, the Marathas were all very brave. Each and every soldier was brave. But if the fight continued for a longer time, what would happen is more and more of Shivaji Maharaj's loyal, brave soldiers would die. He was unwilling to do that, and that is the reason he signed the Treaty of Purandar. And Jai Singh was the person, Mirza Raje Jai Singh. He was the person who persuaded Shivaji to sign a treaty of peace with the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. And not only that, in the meanwhile, he also convinced Shivaji that he should go to Delhi and he should meet up with the Mughal Emperor. And somehow, Shivaji not only signed the treaty, but also he informed Jai Singh that yes, I will go to Agra to meet the emperor. So this is what happened in the story just before what we will see now. That is the reason that Shivaji went to meet the emperor, because Jai Singh said that the emperor would be glad to meet Shivaji and also to extend a hand of friendship. Okay, so let us see now what happens after Shivaji goes to meet the emperor. But before leaving for Agra, what did he do? Shivaji handed over the administration of his Swaraj to his mother Jijabai and he took her blessings. Okay, he said, now I am off to Agra for some days, so it is up to you now to take care of my Jagir. It is up to you now to take care of my people, okay, of my subjects. And he left for Agra. With him were his son Sambhaji Raje, some chosen Sardars and a few trusted people. So he took some Sardars, he took some trusted soldiers and also his son Sambhaji Raje. So now you can see Sambhaji Raje was a young lad at that point of time. He was a young boy. Okay, and they went to Agra in order to meet with the Mughal emperor. He also carried with him a large treasure. In due course, he reached Agra. So you can see Shivaji set out from Maharashtra and he reached Agra in due course. He also had a lot of money and wealth with him when he left for Agra. Now Shivaji shows his spirit at the emperor's court. Now Shivaji was a king. The emperor was also a king. So there is a certain respect, there is a certain way in which one king should treat the other. So Shivaji was a guest. Now whether your guest is a king or not, you have to always respect and show love and this for your guest. Okay, now let us see whether the emperor was, you can say, good enough in order to show respect to Shivaji. How did he treat Shivaji? Was he a gracious person? Let us find out. Now, on a pre-arranged day, Shivaji Maharaj attended the emperor's darbar. So you can see Emperor Aurangzeb sitting there on the throne and all his Sardars, and Shivaji Maharaj also went and he attended or he presented himself before the emperor. It was Aurangzeb's 50th birthday. So that day was Aurangzeb's birthday. Okay, so it was a grand occasion too. Now, after finishing the court in Diwan-e-Khas, the emperor entered the hall where matters of state were discussed. So, Diwan-e-Khas, Khas means special. So, it is a place which is meant only for special people. Alright, it is not a place where general public can also be present. So, there was this celebration in Diwan-e-Khas for his birthday, and then he went to the place, to the hall where matters of the state were discussed. Now there were many sardars who were there, there were common people also. In front of him stood his chief sardars in serial ranks according to their status. So the ones who were more important stood in front, and the ones who were not that important stood behind them. Okay, so just like when you go for a school function or when you go for any function, you will see that the more important people sit in front of the stage. So in the same way, the more important sardars stood in the front ranks. Alright, and people who were not that important or who were not considered to be that important by Aurangzeb, they stood behind in the next row. Now, like I just told you, Shivaji Maharaj was also a king. So what did Aurangzeb do? Jaswant Singh Rathod, whom the Marathas had put to flight on many occasions, was in the rank ahead of Shivaji. So you can see a person standing here. See, look at the arrow on the screen. See, this is Jaswant Singh Rathod. Now this Jaswant Singh Rathod was a Sardar in the court of Aurangzeb. And many a times, on numerous occasions, what the Marathas had been successful in doing, the Maratha Sardars had been successful in making Jaswant Singh run for his life. Okay, so they had defeated Jaswant Singh many a times. But this person was also put in the rank ahead of Shivaji. So Shivaji was made to stand behind people like Jaswant Singh Rathod. So what do you think must have happened? Was Shivaji the kind of person who would take this kind of an insult lying down? Let's see. The emperor put Shivaji in one of the back rows. Now look at Shivaji's expression, look at his face. He doesn't seem to be very pleased. So Shivaji became angry. He got very cross. Okay, why did he get angry? He got angry because he was made to stand behind in the back rows. The emperor put Shivaji in one of the back rows. That is the reason Shivaji became angry. Now remember, if you're calling someone to your house and you're insulting that person, what are you doing? In a way, you're showing your nature. In a way, you're showing that you yourself are a very bad person. Okay, Shivaji became angry and he did not care whether he was emperor or not. After all, he was the king of the sovereign state of Maharashtra, and his status demanded that he should be in the front row. Now, he was also a king. He was not just a Sardar in some king's court. He was the king of the sovereign. Sovereign means free state of Maharashtra. And he was also important enough to be placed in the front rows. That is the reason Shivaji got very wild. He got very angry and insulted. He turned his back on the royal presence and made for his residence. What did he do? He turned his back. That is, people would not turn back on the king that time. They would wait till the emperor rose up and he went, and only then the people would leave the hall. But what did Shivaji do? He was insulted. So Shivaji did not care what the emperor would think, or whether the emperor would become insulted or he would get angry. He just turned and he made for his residence. That is, he left for his home. Now you can see how people are getting agitated. That must be the person who invited him here. Okay, that must be the person, Jai Singh, who said that you should come and meet the emperor. He started persuading Shivaji that you should wait, you should not go. Okay, but he was very, very angry. He decided never to see the emperor's face again. The visit was thus a failure, and the news of the incident spread everywhere. So you can see Shivaji along with Sambhaji Raje and a few of his Sardars, leaving the court in a huff. That is, he was very angry and he left the court. And the others also were standing around, all the Mughals. They seemed to be a little disturbed. Why? Because when someone walks out of the king's court, someone has just walked out of the emperor's court and they have insulted his emperor. Okay, so now they are also a little upset. But then what could be done? Shivaji was insulted and he did not want to stay there. Now the news of this incident spread everywhere. Everyone came to know that this has happened. That is, Shivaji was invited to the court of Aurangzeb and Aurangzeb has insulted Shivaji. And Shivaji has, without caring for the glory of the emperor, he has walked away. Okay, then let's see what happens. We will see how the emperor became treacherous. Treachery means to deceive someone, to cheat someone. Okay, so what was the treachery which was committed by the emperor? Now Shivaji had gone to Agra. Now Agra was under the emperor's rule. Aurangzeb was in charge of Agra. So in a way, Shivaji had walked into his enemy's home. And that is why the emperor's, you can say, niyat, or the emperor's intentions went bad. And he committed a kind of cheating against Shivaji Maharaj. Let's see how that happened. Aurangzeb, what did he do? He ordered guards to be posted around Shivaji's residence. Now, where Shivaji was staying. Now, when you go to some other city or town where you don't have a house, you rent a house, you stay in a hotel, isn't it? So Shivaji was staying in a particular residence. And Aurangzeb, what did he do? He ordered guards to be posted around Shivaji's house so that they could keep an eye on Shivaji, and they would not let Shivaji leave that house. They wanted Shivaji to be kind of imprisoned inside that particular house. Shivaji Maharaj and Sambhaji Raje thus became, for all practical purposes, the emperor's prisoners. Now the emperor had not put them in jail, remember. The emperor did not take them away and put them in jail. He did not have the, you can say, courage to do that. But what did he do? He tried to kind of house arrest Shivaji Maharaj. Like you lay siege to a fort, in the same way, he made his men lay siege to the house where Shivaji Maharaj was living. So Shivaji Maharaj couldn't leave the house. No one else could come inside and meet them. So it became like a kind of jail for Shivaji Maharaj and his son Sambhaji Raje. Shivaji understood the emperor's treachery. He realized that the emperor had tried to cheat him. He realized that the emperor would never let him return to Maharashtra. The emperor would keep him under arrest for the rest of his life. And at the same time, what would he do? He would take all of Maharashtra under his control, because now without Shivaji, there was no one else who would fight with the spirit that Shivaji had. Shivaji realized all this, and then his mind started working. He started thinking of what he should do in order to control, or in order to break this particular, you can say, prison of the emperor. Okay, even though it was not a prison, it was almost like a prison only. Days and weeks passed. Then one day, Shivaji Maharaj petitioned to the emperor for permission to return to Maharashtra. He tried again and again, but every time his request was turned down. So can you imagine, this is such a bad thing to do? You're cheating someone and making him a prisoner. You're inviting someone to your place, and when that person walks into your house, you're closing the door and never allowing him to go out. So this is a kind of a crime. This is a kind of cheating. So days and months went by, and Shivaji did not want to do anything wrong in the beginning. So what did he do? He gently and decently started requesting the emperor that he should be given permission to return back to his home in Maharashtra. He tried to give him a letter again and again, but the emperor every time refused to accept his request. He turned his request down time and again. Then Shivaji Maharaj made up his mind to escape from the emperor's clutches, come what may. So this is the time when he decided to give a slip to the emperor. To begin with, he obtained the emperor's permission to send back to the south the persons who had accompanied him to Agra. So first thing what he did was, he did not want this huge group of people around him. Okay, because then escaping would have become difficult. People would have noticed. So in the beginning, he asked the emperor to allow him to send most of the people who were with him back to the south. South means Agra is towards the north and Maharashtra is towards the southern side of Agra. The emperor was very happy when he heard this, because he thought that now when he takes away more and more people from Shivaji Maharaj's group, then Shivaji Maharaj would be isolated. That is, he will start feeling lonely and then he will finally become weak. So this is how Shivaji Maharaj set the ball rolling. That is, this is how he put his plan into action. What was the plan? He had made up his mind to escape from the emperor's clutches. Now there are many more points which are remaining in this lesson, children, but if it is a very long video, it will become a little lengthy for you also. So let us do one thing. Let us continue our story in the next video. Okay, when I will very soon put up part 2 of this lesson. So what all did we see in the lesson today? We discussed the previous part of the story, that is, we talked about how there was a kind of a siege which was laid to Purandar, and how Murarbaji was killed in that siege, and how Shivaji had to sign the Treaty of Purandar, and then how Jai Singh also persuaded Shivaji that Aurangzeb wanted to extend his hand of friendship, so he should go and meet the emperor at Agra, and Shivaji took the intentions with a good heart and he went to Agra, and he was in a way imprisoned inside his own home. Okay, now in the next video we will see how Shivaji actually manages to give a slip to the emperor. Okay, so now after you finish watching the entire video, watch the entire video, you will see some tasks which I have set for you. So complete those tasks also in order to understand the lesson better. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.